Africa, of course, is an interesting context. I've talked about what's going on in Liberia with Bishop Choir, and we reviewed footage of him getting bullied out of a church and chased away in his car. But Liberia and Nigeria both seem to be places with a lot of action, or at least I'm connected with a number of people who know the action there. And they're interacting now. This is a post from Yoruba Bazel Uwala. He's the number 2 in Nigeria. We've talked about him recently. He made this Facebook post the other day in response to this guy. And I don't know this guy, but they know him in Nigeria. They're talking about him on their WhatsApp. This guy is Jefferson Knight. And Yayuba made a public post and posted this picture of this Jefferson Knight guy saying, "Nigeria is not Liberia. Regionalization plan is evil, sin, and it promote gays and lesbianism. Please, please suspend your teaching on regionalization plan. Who invited you to Nigeria? Be ready. We're going to tell the Nigerian government that you are in the country to promote gays and lesbianism on LGBTQ+. You are in association with gay persons. Go back to Liberia, Jefferson Knight. Please, please go back to Liberia, Jefferson Knight." And you'll notice, I mean, he sounds like he's pleading with him, please, please, but I think he's actually threatening him. And then you have a number of other comments down here below of this guy is not welcome. And supposedly, I've got a couple messages out, supposedly Nigeria is having a special called conference where this guy is thinking he's going to present the regionalization plan to Nigerians. Okay, I got confirmation that Nigeria is having a special called conference on Monday, and it's organized by Bishop Schol. Bishop Schol had a Zoom meeting with the district superintendents of the Nigerian Episcopal area. They requested that he postpone his visit as they were not prepared for the meeting. They suggested that Bishop Schol come in November during their annual conference session, but he declined the proposal and spoke in a commanding tone, ending the meeting by stating that he would come to Nigeria and they should prepare themselves. His tone was perceived as threatening. Ooh. And the number 2 in Nigeria, as well as a number of these other people in the conference, are saying, "Go back home. We don't want to hear from you." I was reading what they were saying about him on the WhatsApp group. It said Jefferson Knight boarded a flight from Monrovia to Nigeria, coming to the special called session on Monday. This guy is known for fabricating lies against the WCA and the African Initiative. He's teaming up with Andy Emanuel, who we talked about recently in Nigeria, who just got fined for bringing silly lawsuits. He's teaming up with Andy to promote regionalization. He was paid by Mark Holland. Now he's on his way to Nigeria to help Bishop Schol carry out their agenda. So I guess Bishop Schol is going to be officiating over this special called conference, and the Nigerians just are not having it. Looks like there's going to be a showdown. Baziel, I think, is threatening Jefferson Knight in this post, just saying, "You're not welcome here. We're going to call the law on you. Please, please, for your sake, don't come." You allowed this guy making the post. He's not afraid of conflict. I've become aware that he is very eager to set a firm standard for his people. So we'll see what comes of this, but it's an interesting development. There's going to be a lot more developments on the continent of Africa as they figure out who's going to stay and who's going to go. There are going to be a lot of attempts from the institution, the United Methodist Church, to try and kind of soften things, and it's no big deal, and you can stay with us. And then there will be a lot of movement on the ground with people just saying, "No, here's what you guys have done. Here's what we're not going to do with you." And if you haven't seen any of my segments on how it is that Africans see us, and I can't pretend to know all of it, but I'm on these WhatsApp groups where they share things about American foreign interventionism and the ways in which our government is trying to normalize gay behavior around the world, the ways in which we tie money to acceptance of LGBTQ sexual ethics. And they're very aware that America wants them to be demoralized and eventually just indifferent to how people behave sexually, and they do not want that. They actually have laws on the books against people coming to their country and advocating for gay acceptance. Remember that Nigeria is split pretty good between Muslims and Christians, and that both are much more conservative than here in the West. And so any kind of agenda of normalizing gay stuff it's illegal there. And so whenever he's saying, I'm going to let the law know about you, this is a very different legal context where he actually can be arrested if this state agrees that he is representing a cause that is trying to normalize gay stuff. And so this is a legitimate threat. There's another thing I noticed in the African WhatsApp group is there is a certain like global pacts, PACTS, that countries sign on to, and Nigeria recently signed one that kind of slips homosexuality under the door there. So they've been reacting to that. They are fully aware that the West is trying to surreptitiously change them, and they're on the defense. And so one might think it kind of odd that they can muster this kind of threatening anger and be talking about people as they come into their country. Americans don't really do that, but it's because they understand themselves to be under threat from an external force that wants to morally degrade them. And so that's how the United Methodist Church is seen now at this point. It's going to be very difficult for Schol or any other Western bishops to come over and smooth things over after this bell has been rung. So keep your eyes on Nigeria and Liberia, and then the rest of the African continent as they reckon with us loony lefties in the West.